Um, so I call over the Town of Cohasset Board of Public Health meeting of September 5th, 2023, 6 p.m. This will be a virtual meeting according to the Massachusetts Commonwealth laws. All votes will be via roll call vote. All public participants can contact the website and join through the link. I'd ask for roll call for present. Marcia Lewis.
Marcia Lewis, aye.
Elizabeth Kirkpatrick.
Elizabeth Kirkpatrick, aye.
Paul Schubert, present. So the meeting today, three of the items at the very beginning are going to be septic upgrades, a little more engineering and technical than what we usually do, but those will be the three there. The last one is feng shui violations, and also towards the end of the meeting, the topics unexpected and not reasonably anticipated by the chair in advance of the meeting is the violation fees, which we can quickly talk about and potentially put on a future meeting if there's concern about pricing of violations of the public health. So at this point, I think we're all here. So Pam, I'll turn it over to you to the three septic upgrade engineering plans.
So we'll start it off with 498 Beechwood Street is first one up, and the presenter is Joe Webby.
Oh, hi, Joe Webby, Webby Engineering, representing the applicant, Ari Lachans at 498 Beechwood Street, Cohasset. The applicant is repairing an existing one-bedroom septic system that's in failure for being in the water table. We're asking for a variance to allow for it to remain a one-bedroom house. There's site is very small. There's no room to make it any larger than that, even if we wanted to. We're also asking for a number of reductions under maximum feasible compliance. We're asking for a vertical reduction for a 3-foot separation to seasonal high groundwater. We're asking that the septic tank, we reduce the distance to the lot line. We're asking that the leach and field distance to the street line be reduced. We're asking for and also a reduction for the septic tank. The applicant's gotten all of his approvals for conservation, and so we're just looking for Board of Health approvals at this point.
So I might want to point out that this is the buffer zone, the 50-foot buffer zone, I think, right here. And so the entire system is outside of that.
Correct.
Okay, any questions from the board? Marcia?
No questions.
Okay, Elizabeth?
Hi, so this is just an are you replacing the septic system, or I'm sorry, I missed that.
Under Title V, this is considered a repair. So it's an existing one bedroom. Obviously it's going to be all new components, but it's going to be another one bedroom septic.
Okay. No other questions. Thank you.
I think the only question I have is, after this is complete, will there be an inspection after the work is finished?
Absolutely. There's an as-built inspection that will be required. Probably at least 2 inspections. We'll have to inspect the bottom of the hole before any material gets put back in. Then once the system's completed, we'll go inspect it, and then typically the Board of Health goes and inspects it. I don't know if they have Phil Spath go and do that, or if staff from the Board of Health goes and does that. But typically there are inspections before it gets backfilled.
Okay, yeah, we do. Thanks. We usually have Phil Spath go out, and there's 3 inspections in total.
Okay, if there's no further questions, then I'd ask for a motion for approval. There's a few separate items. I'd like to put them into one motion if that's possible. So I'd ask for a motion to approve a variance from 310 CMR 15.203 to allow one-bedroom septic design as opposed to the minimum two-bedroom design. Deed restrictions required. In addition, local upgrade approval under 310 CMR 15.405B, allow a reduction of 10 feet to 9 feet between the septic tank and the building foundation. A local upgrade approval under 310 CMR 15.405A to allow a reduction of 10 feet to 5 feet from a soil absorption system to the street. A local upgrade approval under 310 CMR 14.405B to allow for a reduction of 20 feet to 10 feet from the soil absorption system to the existing foundation. A motion to include local upgrade approval under 310 CMR 15.405A to allow a reduction of 10 feet to 5 feet from the septic tank to the property line. A local upgrade approval under 310 CMR to allow a reduction of 4 feet to 3 feet from the bottom of the soil absorption system to estimated high groundwater to minimize grading to reduce impact to surrounding wetlands. A motion to approve the repair of sanitary system plan for 498 Beach Street, dated 5/28/23, which was revised 7/28/23. Is there a motion?
Sure, yeah. I'll make a motion to accept those changes, and I don't know if it's a first motion or second motion at this point, but.
Well, I just put it forward, so you'd have the first. Yep.
Okay.
And is there a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, so I'd ask for a roll call vote on those motions. Marcia?
Aye.
Elizabeth?
Elizabeth Kirkpatrick, aye.
Paul Schubert, aye. And the motion passes unanimously. I'd love to have just a follow-up on after the inspection, just to see how it went. The one item on this, which is kind of interesting, I didn't know there was a one-bedroom house in Cohasset, but there's probably only a few of them. This is one of them, which is probably goes, I'm sure goes way back, rather historically interesting as well.
Thank you.
So next up is 472 Beechwood. That would be Greg Morse. I'll share my screen on that one as well.
Good evening. This is Greg Morse. Are you ready to proceed?
I am. I'm sharing it with my on screen.
Great.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. For the record, Gregory Morse, registered engineer, Morse Engineering. This is a septic system repair at 472 Beechwood Street. Property owned by Stacy Gulko. The existing building out here is a 6-bedroom multifamily dwelling. It's comprised of 3 2-bedroom units, so a total of 6. There's a failed soil absorption system located in the front of the building. There are 2 existing tanks, a septic tank and a pump chamber located in the side yard. Our proposal here is to reuse the existing septic tank, which is a 2,500-gallon tank, reuse the existing pump chamber, which is a 1,500-gallon pump chamber, and simply replace the leaching field in the front of the building. What we've proposed for a leaching system is a Presby Enviro septic leaching bed. It offers a couple of IA technology credits, which we are taking credit for. One of them, it allows us a maximum of a 40% size reduction in the area. We've designed this as a 15.9% size reduction. It also allows a separation in the groundwater reduction. In this case here, we had very good soil, less than 2 minutes an inch. So we're asking for a reduction from 5 feet to 4 feet of groundwater separation. The property lines here are very tight. Included in this request is a local upgrade approval for setbacks from the property line to the soil absorption system, where 10 feet is the requirement. We're asking for a reduction down to 6 feet. And the soil absorption system to the foundation, where 20 feet is typically required. We're proposing a distance of 10.7 feet. The dashed bold line that you see surrounding, 2/3 of the system represents a breakout liner that's on the side of the building as well as the side of the property line with the reduced property setback. Out behind this property are wetlands. The red line that you see on the back of the lot depicts the 50-foot wetland buffer. There's really no other place where this system can be placed on the property. So we have it well outside the 100-foot by placing it in the front yard. We just need the local upgrade approval requests, again, because of the property lines and utilities, the water and gas locations out there. Turn it over to you.
I'd ask, are there any questions from the board?
So I can just add, it's essentially going in the exact same spot where it currently exists. It's because like Greg was saying, it's just so tight, there's no place else to put it. So it's pulling out the old one and putting in a new one.
Were there 3 variance requests or just 2?
2.
Okay.
The property line to the soil absorption system, and then the soil absorption system to the foundation.
Any other questions? So I won't read this one. I'll ask someone to make the proposed motion. Is there a motion for approval?
I'll make a motion to approve the septic design plan for 472 Beechwood Street.
And the motion will be local upgrade approval under 310 CMR 15.04, reduction from 10 to 6 feet behind the soil absorption system of the property line, and a local upgrade approval under 310 CMR 15.405B, allow a reduction of 20 to 10.7 feet between the soil absorption and the building foundation, and a motion to approve the septic design plan for 472 Beechwood Street. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call vote. All in favor of the motion? Elizabeth Kirkpatrick?
Elizabeth Kirkpatrick, aye.
Marcia Lewis?
Marcia Lewis, aye.
Paul Schubert, aye. The motion passes unanimously. And likewise, I hope there's a follow-up inspection afterwards, which I know at this point it's required, but just a simple note saying the inspection post project would be nice to see. Thank you.
Thank you.
And then Greg has the next plan also. It's 270 North Main Street. I'll just pull that one up as well.
Yeah, just in between projects here, I might add, at least on all of my plans, and I know it's a Cohasset requirement, these do get inspected along the way during the construction phase. The design engineer goes out, as well as the town Board of Health agent or your representative typically goes out to inspect the limits of excavation on these. And then once the system is completely built, you go back for a final as-built inspection. So that does occur. Yep. So what you see on the screen here, this is 270 North Main Street. Again, for the record, Gregory Morse, registered engineer, Morse Engineering, representing the property owner, David Walsh. This is an existing 5-bedroom single-family home. The existing septic system is located in the backyard. It recently failed a Title V septic inspection. So the proposal here is to construct a new system. The new system is in the backyard. That's where all the plumbing for the house exits. What we've proposed here is a 1,500-gallon septic tank, a 1,500-gallon pump chamber, and again, a Presby Enviro septic soil absorption system. With the Presby system, we took 2 IA technology credits. You're allowed to take up to a 40% size reduction. We asked for a 30.9% size reduction. You're allowed to take a groundwater separation down to 2 feet, and we've requested that down to 2 feet. This area where the soil absorption system's going is existing lawn area. It would be restored as lawn area. This does have one local upgrade approval variance, and that is from 310 CMR 15405J, which is allowing us to use a sieve analysis. The soil was just simply too wet to perform a perk test on site the day that we did the soil testing. We've located it outside of the 50-foot wetland buffer zone. We do have to go to Conservation Commission on this tomorrow night. I'm expecting their approval of this project so long as the Board of Health approves the project. I turn it over to you.
Okay. So again, this is limited what in appearance to be location of where it can be placed. Building in the front, a 50-foot, 100-foot buffer zone, and then the septic system off to the left of the property line, towards the property line. Are there any questions from the board? So this one looks a little bit more straightforward. Again, there'll be a during construction inspection and an after project inspection, as we've been informed. So I'd ask for a motion for a local upgrade approval under 310 CMR 15.405. It says I, but I believe it's J is what they're looking for, to allow a sieve analysis in lieu of a percolation test and approve the septic design plan for 270 North Main Street, dated 8/8/23. Is there a motion for that?
I'll make that motion, yes.
Second?
Second?
Any discussion? And I'll call for a vote. All in favor, Elizabeth Kirkpatrick.
Elizabeth Kirkpatrick, aye.
Marcia Lewis.
Marcia Lewis, aye.
And Paul Schubert, aye. Motion passes unanimously. Love to have just a quick note afterwards just to see how it went. We'll probably get a note from the COMCOM tomorrow as well, or a confirmation of approval.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, I'll let you guys know how they make out with all three systems, and including the CONCOM meeting tomorrow night.
So I think these are some of the more advanced technological septic systems that are starting to come online, which we may see down the road. Honestly, more development in town where these are size limited containment septic fields that weren't allowed in the past due to the technology, and now you can size them down and fit in places that wouldn't normally allow it, which we'll see in the future, I'm sure.
Right. So just to let you know, Mass DEP has approved many of these technologies, and then they put it out there on their website, and they say whatever limitations go with them, whether you need deed restrictions. As Greg mentioned, some of them give you credits, so you don't have to ask for local upgrade approvals. You know, they say you can reduce like the distance to groundwater, and you can reduce the size of them. So it's already like pre-approved by Mass DEP. So then we just have to approve anything additional beyond that.
Okay, I guess we're up to at 6:30. We're not there yet. I guess I'd ask for a quick change of agenda then, give Feng Shui time because we're running ahead of schedule to 6:30. So I'd ask for a motion to change the agenda to discuss approval of minutes, the next meeting date, public health director report, public health nurse report, and topics not reasonably anticipated of the chair 40 hours in advance of the meeting to be moved to the present time. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion, yes.
Is there a
Move
second?
those items for the present.
A second.
Ask for a roll call vote.
Elizabeth Kirkpatrick, aye. Oh,
Yeah, Marcia?
Marcia Lewis, aye.
Paul Schubert, aye. Motion passes. So we'll just move ahead in the agenda. So I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from June 13th, 2023 Cohasset Board of Public Health and August 1, 2023 Cohasset Board of Health. Is there any discussion? No? Then I'd ask for a motion.
Make the motion to approve those minutes.
And is there a second?
Second.
Ask for a roll call vote. Elizabeth Kirkpatrick.
Elizabeth Kirkpatrick, aye.
Marcia Lewis.
Marcia Lewis, aye.
Paul Schubert, aye. Motion passes unanimously. Next up, which is probably the most important, is next meeting date.
We do have another septic system that's that will be ready to go. So if we make it a month from now, that would be good. I'm just saying not more than a month.
Okay. Would that work for, let me just see the
calendar.
October 3, would that potentially work?
Works for me.
Okay.
I actually have a conflict.
On the 3rd?
Yeah. I can do it the 4th or the 5th, any other time that week.
You want to do it? Can you do it the 4th?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody can do it on the 4th?
Yes.
Okay, great. So how about let me see here. October 4th, Wednesday, 2023, 6 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That'll work? Okay, great. Excellent. We're still running ahead of time. So I guess we'll go to the Public Health Director's report.
So the latest information I have on beaches, because that was kind of the big thing before the weekend, is trying to hopefully see that we can get all the beaches open. At the end, Bastings Beach kind of went downhill, which typically happens with the harbor because there's so much harbor use between boats. And then this year we had a lot of rain, a lot of stormwater runoff. You get a lot of contamination coming in from the Gulf River. And honestly, like the last results, were pretty bad by and large. So I think in the big picture of things, it kind of tells us that getting regional sewer would be a really great idea. I know the Sewer Commission has been kicking it around for a long time. And I think initially they weren't on board for it because they felt like it might promote additional growth. But I think now they've kind of come to see the light and realize that regional sewer actually really would be a good thing if they sewered, say, North Scituate, which contributes into the Gulf River and the whole harbor, South Main Street area. So someday, if it does come before sewer, it would be good if like Board of Health could also support it. And, just like for the sake of the beaches and Bastings Beach and stuff. I mean, we can see the pollution like rising and rising as the summer goes along. So, yeah, I think that's about it. I think Forest Ave struggled. They have a big outflow pipe that comes down the street and empties out on the beach with all the stormwater runoff. And Bastings obviously has the Gulf River contributing it. They also can have stormwater runoff from, Governor's Island and our Government Island. And luckily Sandy's kind of spared from that. There really is no point sources there or runoff, at least from stormwater. So, yeah, 2 out of the 3 beaches really had a tough summer this year, unfortunately. But it's over now, thankfully.
Till next summer.
Yeah.
So we'll go to Public Health Nurse report.
Yeah. Hi, how is everybody?
Hi, Mary. Good.
So just a couple of things. Camps are done for the season. My report's been submitted to the state. I did that today. We only had 2 recreational camps this summer, which is down from previous years. And a little update on Sunrise. They currently are dealing with a little COVID outbreak. They had a total of 10 cases, 7 residents and 3 staff. 1 resident was hospitalized. However, the last reported case was on the 31st of August. So I'm hoping maybe we've got this contained somewhat. So they went back to weekly testing of all staff, stepped up their infection control procedure. So we'll see how it goes. The unfortunate thing is the woman that I worked with all through the pandemic, a woman named Leah Goddard, who was the executive director, and she did an excellent job working through COVID. She has resigned. So she's going to Penniman Hill. So we'll see who takes her spot. But that really makes a big difference in communication and how things are handled. And it's really important. So, and then the third thing is half of my flu vaccine order is in. The other half is due to ship the week of the 22nd of September. Clinics are scheduled for October and then one into November. Steve Golden is going to sign my standing orders this week, and then I'll be ready to go. So all the clinics will be at Wilcott, 2-hour clinics, 450 doses. So we'll see how it goes. That's it.
Excellent. So when will they start? You said October?
October 16th and 17th and November 4th. Those are the clinics that people come to, and then I'll start doing home visits in the next week, get those out of the way. And then typically last year I worked with the schools, the nurse leader, we did about 100 teachers. So I have to set that up as well. So.
Okay, great. And that's paid for by the state?
No, we purchased that.
Oh, we're paying for it.
Yeah, we purchase it and then we bill for it. And believe it or not, it's profitable. We make money on that. So, which is going to be the same with COVID though. You're going to have to purchase that. So we'll have to see how much it costs and whether we can get some money out of the general fund to pay for it or what we'll do.
All right.
And Mary, you got more high dose this year too, didn't you? Because there was a big demand last year.
I did. I increased my order from 150 to 250 because there's a big demand for that. And this is the first year that CDC and DPH actually recommend high dose. Prior to this year, they just said get a flu shot. So I feel comfortable pushing that out.
Excellent. Any comments from the board?
Just a question from the town's financial perspective. If someone has health insurance and can get it at CVS, is that preferred by the town, or do you welcome all people, or is it?
Well, from a financial point of view, I welcome them. The CVS's and the Walgreens are really taking the money from the town.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments? Great. Well, that's good. If that can just get up on the town website, those 3 days. So it would be October 16th and 17th and November 4th at Wilcott Commons. That'd be great.
And they're on the town website. They're on the Board of Health page, my page, and Excellent. Also links to book appointments because you book your appointment through this color platform. So
that should make it easier. Good.
Yeah, Excellent. And if anybody can't do it, then we send them to the senior center and they'll book an appointment for them.
So I have a question, Mary. If we do procure the COVID vaccine as well, will there be an opportunity for individuals to get both shots at the same visit?
Probably not, because they're saying for the COVID mid to late September, but that's all we've heard, right? So by the time I think it would be ordered and you would get your order, I think I'll be beyond my flu clinics, which in some ways I prefer that. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we could dedicate November to COVID. So we'll see. I wish they'd give us more information. I feel like right now we're kind of dangling a little bit, but that's pretty typical, I guess.
Yeah, I think the production of the newer XBB variant vaccine is not really up to speed yet. So that may be, I might even be in mid-November before they deliver them in volume.
Yeah, right.
Okay, any other comments? Great. Looks like we're back on time again. So it's 6:30. I'll turn the next section, Feng Shui violations, over to Pam.
Thank you, Dr. Schubert. The reason why I asked for a hearing tonight is because Brian Flynn, who's our food inspector that we contract with. He and I have been doing food inspections at Feng Shui for at least 5 years now. And we've just noticed that nothing ever seems to change. We keep writing up the same violations over and over again about pest infestations. And even though Feng Shui has complied in some respects and they have pest control come in every 3 weeks, it's just obvious that they're not doing any kind of like daily cleaning. I mean, just because roaches die, you still need to clean them up. You can't have dead roaches laying around, and not to mention live roaches. So I just want to share my screen and just show like a few pictures from the last inspection that we did. So this is the dishwasher, and you can see there's dead cockroaches laying on top of it. And right here is actually like an egg case. So this will be, when it opens, like baby roaches in there. This is underneath the dishwasher. So this is got dead roaches on it, but it shouldn't just be sitting here with, you know, dead bugs, like all underneath here. You get to see like all the insects and stuff. This should be cleaned up. This should not be sitting around underneath a dishwasher. And this is the floor junction near where the big flower bins are, right over here to the left of this. And again, there's, you know, the dead roaches everywhere. Again, here's some like egg cases here. This is just kind of an area behind where the grease trap is. It's just filthy, filled with grease and you know, dead carcasses. This is a live roach that we saw. Again, this is really right near the flower bins. So, you know, at night when the lights go off and the insects come out, I mean, who's to say, you know, somebody put the lid tightly on the flower bins. And this is underneath the 3-bay sink. This is all like live roaches right here underneath this area. And again, this was the close-up of that egg case on top of the dishwasher. And then finally, as Brian and I were walking around doing our inspection, we pointed to this bin, which I think has sanitizer in it, and just saying, look, this has got dead roaches all on the top of that. Clean this up. So then later, when I went out to actually get my phone and my camera to record some of this stuff, not only had a worker not cleaned it off, he sat down right next to it to eat his lunch. So clearly he was never going to clean this up. So I just feel like we keep saying the same things over and over and over again, and there doesn't seem to be any chance that anything's ever really going to get cleaned. It just seems like it's there needs to be a plan. Like, first of all, not just like shutting down and have a deep cleaning, because we've done that in the past, but there needs to be a daily maintenance. I mean, maybe like some workers are assigned to like the dishwashing area, or others assigned to the 3-bay sink area. But when there's breaks in the afternoon between lunch service and dinner service, people should be cleaning it up. We can't be leaving dead roaches laying around on top of surfaces. It's just not acceptable. It's just unsanitary conditions. So that's really all I had to say.
Any comments from the board?
So I think there's a representative here from Feng Shui.
Yes, I'm John. Yeah, okay. I did. I will talk to the chefs and have them do the daily cleaning.
Could I ask you to identify yourself?
I'm John Wong, the president of Feng Shui.
Okay.
So yeah, I talked to the pest control company Eagle Eye, and they said to do more regular deep cleaning. So we're gonna do quarterly, but in the meantime, I'll talk to the chefs about doing the daily cleaning more efficient. Because I think July and August is when they're most active. So I'll have them keep the place clean. I'll talk to the head chef.
So I think we'd like, from the board point of view, I would like to see a written plan of the companies that will be cleaning, the pest control companies, and a clear calendar of when their arrival and what their results are.
Okay, I can do that. I could do a written report and hand it to Pam.
And are there comments from the board?
I mean, until we get that plan, I feel rather strongly that the restaurant should be shut down, given the previous history of so many violations and an inability to correct the problem. I think we need to see not only a plan, but tangible evidence that the situation has been remedied.
Okay, Elizabeth, any comments?
Well, the pest control doesn't, as far as I understand, they are really just attacking the bugs, but they're not doing the cleaning, which seems to be a major piece of this. So I think there needs to be some accountability and some proof of routine maintenance of the facility.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll talk to the chef today and have him. I'll go in even tomorrow to help clean.
Thank you. And I think that cleaning schedule and plan should be very much part of your integrated or your pest management plan.
Right. Twin Brothers coming Thursday to do the deep cleaning.
I don't know per se if quarterly deep cleaning is sufficient in this case. I would defer to the rest of the boards on their comments on that.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I mean, I think the volume that we see of grease that's there, I mean, this is something that's probably every few days needs to be seriously cleaned after hours. As somebody worked in a restaurant in the past in high school and then in various other places in college, that was part of the plan. Was at the end of the shift, you wiped and cleaned and you scrubbed everything down, and you did a weekly cleaning of everything, the kitchen, the vents, the food preparation. I mean, it was part of the plan. And I suspect that's, or it appears that's not being done.
They do clean the wok area, I guess, that on the top of the dishwasher and in the corners. They broom and they mop the floor every day. I guess on top of the bucket. Some places they do miss inside corners where they would need to remove the refrigeration to get to the back. That area they don't do every day.
Well, they may need to if this is what the result is.
Right. I will have them do it every day.
All right, and the pest strips should be removed daily too. I mean, you can't just have a pest strip just collecting more and more dead bugs every day. It's
you said to remove it every day or maybe a couple of days, or
yeah, I mean, you just can't have a constant collection of dead insects underneath there. I mean, you just gotta.
Okay.
Let me just get back to
when I was working in the restaurant, every night we would put out the pest strips and we would take them out and throw them out the next morning. So I'm not sure how that can be a difficult project.
Okay, that should be.
They're quite inexpensive. You put them down, they get them, you throw them out, because with them go the egg cases, with them go the bugs, the insects, and everything else. It just gets thrown out.
Okay. I'll have to.
Mary, when is there a reinspection schedule, or is it unannounced, or how does that work?
Actually, I think you want Pam.
Oh, sorry, Pam. Yes.
Yeah, so usually when we find violations with somebody and we'll write down like we'll be back in, we'll give you such and such a date to get things squared away, and then we'll come back again. Initially when we show up, it's unannounced. And then when we do the reinspection, it's usually announced, or like they'll tell us like, oh, I fixed the dishwasher, come back and we'll double check it. And usually it's within a week. We'll give somebody a week. In this case, the inspection was on August 22nd, and we just kind of threw our hands up and said it's time for our meeting before the board.
Thank you.
So at this point, it would be good to do a deep cleaning and have us come back again and see that you can at least get back to a baseline of sanitary conditions.
Okay, I'll do that.
So
Well, I think there was,
when could we expect to see a pest management plan?
By Friday, I'll hand over to Pam.
With the sanitation plan as part of that,
Yes,
please. Thank you.
thank you.
Marcia, would that be adequate for the time being?
I guess for the time being, but I think given the past history, I think we would need, inspections would need to be done, unannounced after this initial period, and often. Because I'm just worried that given past patterns, that this will keep recurring. What guarantee do we have that this will be fixed and fixed for good?
Yeah, I would agree. I think unannounced inspections would be one easy way to get a random sample of whether or not there's compliance. Would that be okay? Also. Would that be okay with the board?
Yes.
Elizabeth, would that be okay?
Yes, I would. Thank you.
So typically we don't have to go back to someplace more than once. And so we usually don't charge people, but if we do have to start doing multiple re-inspections, there is a fee on our fee schedule. It's $50 an inspection.
I think we should at least institute that. What does the board think?
I agree.
I agree.
Okay. So if there's a re-inspection required for this violation, then it's an automatic fee for the re-inspection. And does the owner understand that?
Yes, I understand.
And do you also understand the gravity of the violations that are here? This is part of good health and cleanliness and proper food preparation and safety for the public for food. So this is not a minor violation. Do you understand that?
Yes, I understand.
Okay.
One last question. Pam, do the employees have what is it, like serve safe or sanitation training that's current, or
that's a good question.
Yes.
No, that's a good question. So it's not every employee. Go ahead, John, you can answer.
Oh, okay. It's me and the manager, Vicky.
So 2 people have serve safe. The rest of the employees do not. But so the rules under the it's actually the federal food code is you have to have one person there who is serve safe certified at all times. So you don't have to make all your employees have it, but you have to have a manager there that has it.
Okay.
Similar to an ABC manager, where there has to be someone on site or immediately available within, I think it's a reasonable length of time. So maybe if they have 2 restaurants, if they're right nearby, they can drive. But those are the rules. Yeah.
Okay. And does Feng Shui comply with those rules, having someone available?
Yes, it's me and my manager.
Thank you.
And I could add another one also.
So is there anything further as far as we can get a plan on Friday and we can go with a random reinspection that will be paid for by the owner? Is that a reasonable start from the board?
Yes.
Yes.
And honestly, we may need to have another meeting sooner than next month if there's egregious violations that are not attended to. Would that be okay with the board?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I just ask
go ahead.
an informational question about what would you consider to be an egregious violation, and an egregious violation sufficient to shut down the restaurant until it's corrected? Is there an example of that, or?
I mean, obvious things would be salmonella infection or typhoid-borne illness in an outbreak. There would be rodents. There would be, those are the ones I know of. I'm sure Pam knows some others.
Yeah, anything leading to foodborne illness.
I guess technically a roach may or may not cause foodborne illness, but it's a sign of potential poor cleanliness, poor quality of handling of potential work environment and food preparation, I guess is where it comes down to. Is that accurate, Pam?
That's it. It's perfect.
Or let's say a roach is found in food that's being served. What would happen in those circumstances? Anything different?
Well, the good news is that the food tends to be fried and it tends to be cooked at like 600 degrees or something. And so generally that type of heat can kill just about any kind of like bacteria or something. So if it wasn't, say it was like a salad or something, that would be another story. But the fact that it's fried is the thing that kind of usually prevents actual foodborne illness.
Pam, did you inspect the sushi area of the restaurant as well?
We do. Yeah, we do. We haven't seen any kind of insects in there. That's a really good question, actually, because you're right, because that's not cooked at 600 degrees. It's literally raw, but we have not seen the infestation out in that area.
Thank you.
I think this is, I think it's pretty unsanitary. And I think if there's a plan, we can start with that. But I have a pretty low threshold to not let this happen further if they don't agree to a very strict set of situation of cleaning and wiping and disinfectant and insect pest removal. I don't know, what are the other folks on the board?
I couldn't agree more.
I agree.
So Pam, then we'll get from them on Friday a plan of cleanliness and pest control, and at your will, you're given the option to inspect at will, I guess, at this point.
Yes, we will step up the number of inspections that we do, and we will charge $50 for every reinspection.
Okay, does that in favor of the rest of the board?
Yes.
Okay. It's pretty unusual to see this sort of situation in any restaurant. And I know the ones I worked in, that was part of cleaning every night, every morning, and cleaning out everything, once a week, a deep clean. And, we did inventory once a month, but we did cleaning an awful lot more than the inventory. Anyway. So we'll leave it at that. And Pam, you've just probably just give me a email or give me a call on Friday and see how things look at that point.
Yes, I will.
Okay, great. All right, well, thank you for coming from Feng Shui, and thank the board for their comments. This is one of the reasons why we have boards of health, is to keep the restaurants clean. So I guess we'll end it there for the time being, but it won't be final, that's for sure. The next thing that's up, which was under the topics not really anticipated by the chair, was the fees and the fines. So Pam, I think there was a list that was sent out on the various fees that are currently posted for the town for the Board of Health.
Yeah, so we have it's typically a permit fee list, and recently Amy undertook a task of getting the fees for other towns to see what they charge for, say, like a pool permit or a septic installation permit, that kind of thing. And it seemed like, I don't know how many towns she did, let's say like 8 towns. It seemed like we were pretty much in line with other towns in terms of what we charge for a permit fee. But in terms of fines, that's something different. And I can look into, it may be limited by the state, like what boards of health power is. And so I can look into that and find out if there are limitations and ranges and things like that. But certainly, once I find out the parameters, then the board's definitely free to, we could post it as an agenda item and discuss it and decide if you want to raise any kind of fines.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I mean, depending on what the state requirements are and what the local communities charge for example, reinfection or a reinspection, sorry, or any violations that would be finable, that might be one thing we can look at, because
or
it just seems that
violations.
Repeated
violations.
Exactly. And is there a step up of what level is a simple violation, a reviolation, or a secondary violation, or one that says 3 or 4 times and you pull the permit of whatever it may be, food handling or the beverage or whatever else may be involved.
Yeah, it's like speeding tickets.
Right. And you're right, Pam, there's probably state regulations that are there that will limit the Board of Health authority.
Yeah, and I'll check into that for sure.
Okay. So you want to put that on the next agenda? We can do a quick overview of what the town, what the other towns have, and then the following we can, review it and then consider taking a vote on increasing or adding anything that might seem awry from the usual standard operating fines and fees and things like that. Would that work?
Yep, will do.
All right. That's all the topics I had. The only other thing which I want to mention is just at the hospital at South Shore, we're starting to see an uptick of COVID admissions. Almost all of them are under-vaccinated or not vaccinated that are admitted, but it's far more than even a month ago. So we're probably just starting to see the beginning of the uptick of the flu and COVID and RSV season as we see the schools start to open up.
At this point, would you recommend we just wait till November to get the new vaccine, even if we haven't been vaccinated since, like, say, I don't know, January or mid last winter?
So from my point of view, what I've kind of gone through the last 2.5 years, I've been pushing for the second COVID Omicron booster for pretty much anyone. So over the age of 60, but I have really opened that up to anyone who is high risk exposure, high risk individual, those sorts of things, even before the new XBB variant vaccine comes out, because I'm not certain when that will hit the shelves. It clearly is taking longer to produce and ship and store than what's out there currently. So I've been recommending getting up to date now for the second round. And then when the additional one shows up, again, talk to your doctor, but my recommendations are a little bit broader just from what I've seen, that I have a higher risk population in general, but even at the hospital, you know, we're starting to see more. And I think what I've seen is the undervaccinated and the unvaccinated are the ones that are coming in. So
would that still apply? So say you had your initial and then you had the 2 boosters, but again, it's been a long time. Would you still recommend a third booster prior to, or just speak to your doctor?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say speak to your doctor, but you know, the recommendations are a second Omicron booster for those over the age of 60 or any other risk factors that are there beyond 90 days from the last booster. So, and I think that, you know, the CDC is not saying everyone, but as we hit the fall, they're trying to get all the high risk folks doubly boosted with the Omicron booster before the fall. I think they understand that you're not going to see the newer one out until, I think, mid-November, and that's, you know, that's Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Any other questions or comments? I think the only other thing, there is an RSV vaccine for those over the age of 60, under the age of 5. That's new, so you may want to talk to your doctor about that as well. And I'm glad we've got the flu on board, and that should be up and running in just a few weeks, which is great. I guess we'll, if there's nothing further, then I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second. Yep.
All in favor, roll call vote. Elizabeth
Kirkpatrick, aye.
Marcia Lewis.
Marcia Lewis, aye.
Paul Schubert, aye. And the motion passed unanimously. Well, thank you guys for attending, and we'll see you in a month. I may send out an informational email after Friday just to let you know what's going on. And thank you for attending.
Have a good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night.